USA, USA, USA.
Czar cuts through the middle and he takes a pretty good wallop. And
USA, USA.
He's got him put his head up right.
What does Kaiden Guhle do for you guys?
Buries people.
This whole sequence just cracked me up. Guhle lays down a nice legal open ice hit. Blackhawks don't like that. Lots of teams are guilty of this. They have to fight after a clean hit. Crevier says, "Hey, I'm down to dance. Might be bigger than you're used to." Guhle's not a fighter. I think his best fight was probably against Adam Henrique. So Guhle resigns himself to saying, "Hey, yeah, it looks like I'm fighting." Crevier comes in. His knees are buckled. Guhle gets him right on the button. Start things off very poorly for Crevier, and then Crevier is throwing shots, but they're none of them are landing. Probably because he just got dummied. And then the Chicago fans start chanting USA, USA. Crevier's from Quebec. Your star player, he's from Canada. Just a comical set of events that were part of a very entertaining third game of the season for the Montreal Canadiens. Let's talk about it.
Well, let's say the name of one of our teammates on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, Slav.
So yeah, this was a really exciting game. Montreal last season, they had kind of a tough time with the Blackhawks. I think it's because they're both pretty young teams. I think that they like to break out and play a lot of that transition game. Neither team plays a super tight game. Montreal plays a much tighter game than Chicago, but you can see the maturity level there. It's not as present in older teams. So it's a little bit about fighting fire with fire, and it just leads to games like this one. It was at times messy, but like I said, entertaining. So let's get right into the recap. First of all, I want to thank you for your support. We went on a fun adventure today. YouTube incorporated this new metric called hypes, and the last video peaked at #1 in Canada for hype. If you have the opportunity to hype up this video, hit that the button. I've never seen the prompt. I don't use the mobile version of YouTube very much, and I think that's the only place to do it. But because this is a small channel, I think this is a big channel. I think we're doing an incredible job, but we're considered a small channel. We get extra points so I can compete with the bigger channels. And yeah, I guess we peaked at #1. I only caught it when our hype reached 6 overall and we were the #1 in sports, beating the Jays' victory. Pretty incredible stuff. If you're not part of this community, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you as part of the community. For those of you that are already members, just hit that like button. It helps me out with probably algorithm stuff. So, nous devons commencer, ou nous commençons toujours, la formation de départ. Our starting lineup. Nos attaquants, our forwards, Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky, Bolduc, Doc, Gallagher, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov, Anderson, Evans, Laine, défenseur, our defensemen, Matheson, Dobson, Guhle, Hudson, Xhekaj, Carrier, no gardien, our goalies. Montembeault is starting in net. Dobesh had a great last game, but he's our starter. He's got to start in net. There's always some debate to this. I think that Dobesh gets 2 starts if Montembeault is, well, first of all, like injured, or maybe if he's on a real big cold streak. So yeah, let's drop the puck on this one. This is Chicago's home opener, and because of that, they're gonna try to not stink it up, right? So both teams come out battling. There's a lot of good energy. It's a little bit chippy, and they're playing hard, but they're not. It's sloppy. And early on, Ryan Donato takes a delay of game penalty. Sends the puck over the boards. This was the tip of the iceberg. The first of 78 consecutive penalties by the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm exaggerating, but it was bad. All right, we get to look at the power play. How's things looking? I think they're up to 8 on the season, and they have capitalized once. It's looking pretty stale. They're moving the puck around, but they're not finding the kill zones. And then still on the power play, Nick Suzuki, the captain of the team, takes an offensive zone penalty on the power play. He's complaining a little bit. It's soft, but no doubt that it's holding. So on the 4-on-4, I like their 4-on-4. They look good on the 4-on-4. I think the Habs always look good on the 4-on-4, and it's because they're fast. They can find that extra room, and yeah, they're great with the extra room. But Chicago goes on the power play. They're not able to capitalize. And then not long after that, Evans draws a high sticking penalty. And I got to say, Evans, you are so good at drawing those high sticking penalties. You really sell them. So we get to take another look at the power play. And this time it's power play 1 that gets the shot first. It's still just nothing doing. We see Bolduc lay a big hit, and then he gets interfered with by Connor Murphy. Gives him a shove from behind. Very honorable there, Connor Murphy. Montreal will actually see some 5-on-3 time on this power play. So it was starting to click a little bit, but they're trying to trick the penalty kill and Spencer Knight, who was great this game, by the way. But Dobson doesn't find good wood. And then still without any luck, Nick Foligno looks like he's going to be heading on a breakaway, shorthanded, but Ivan Demidov makes a huge defensive play to take the puck out of Foligno's possession. The Habs are driving towards the net, but they just can't finish. It's really frustrating. There were some good opportunities in the first, second, and third, but I think, again, to his credit, Spencer Knight did a great job at stopping the bleeding. Strong forecheck here by Caulfield creates a great opportunity in front with 5 minutes left in the first period. And then before the period could end, Chicago says, hey, what the hell? Let's take another penalty. This is the 4th penalty of the period and the 5th of the game. On the power play, Laine is getting into his office, but he can't score on those patented puck processing pings. Patty picked a peck of pickled peppers. Now the Evans line gets an opportunity, but Evans is robbed by Spencer Knight, who has been playing excellently. Period ends. There's some shoving in the corner. Bedard is in there, and he's just yapping. Second period starts. Kaiser is just taking all sorts of shots on Demidov and finally gets called for a roughing penalty. We're going back to the power play. At this point, I'm typing on social media. I'm complaining on forums. I'm saying, hey, was it so bad when Patrick Laine was set up on the left circle and Hudson was just feeding him one-timers? Just hoping to jinx all of the universal laws that are stopping the Canadiens from scoring on the power play. And wouldn't you know,
Suzuki hands it off. Bolduc with a shot, scores! Cole Caulfield knocks it out of midair and bangs it in. And
Cole Caulfield makes it 1-0. Bolduc and Suzuki chipped in on this one. It was a flutter puck towards the net, and Caulfield redirects it the last moment to put it over Spencer Knight's shoulder. So the first goal of the season for Caulfield, 119 goals in his career. But there's no time to celebrate because the Chicago Blackhawks are going to get on the board as well.
5-0, but Teravainen gets it, hands it off. Rinzel with a shot.
This is a funny one. Rinzel. Evans loses the face-off here. Everyone pays no attention to Rinzel, who comes up behind the scene and puts it in behind Montembeault. Moving on, Guhle is taking out Frank Nazar.
Record, and now he's got his first NHL goal. And he's even it up.
He removes him from his body. His soul leaves his body for a moment. Just a beautiful open ice hit, but Frank Nazar is a young up-and-coming player on the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's got some friends on the team that take exception to what just happened. So as I said in the intro, Crevier comes in with a head full of steam, and Guhle decks him. After that, it was all Crevier, but like I said, he didn't land very much either, and Crevier gets the instigator on this one. Habs back to the power play. Now, if they could just get a goal on this power play, we might be able to shut up a little bit about how bad it's been going on the power play and that there needs to be changes.
And Caulfield with a chance. Make the save. They score. It's Bolduc again.
Thank you, Zack Bolduc. 2-1 Montreal. 3 goals in 3 games. He is very steadily headed towards 82 goals this season. How many assists does he have? He has 1 assist, so he has got 4 points altogether. Where does that put him for leaders in the NHL? I don't know the websites actually. I think they're probably like migrating servers right now or something. Moving on, we see Bedard shoving Demidov after the whistle, and Demidov gives him a shove back. With all the penalties being called on Chicago, Montreal has to watch out because the refs are going to do some of their funny business with game management, and unfortunately, a usual suspect gets himself targeted, and Xhekaj heads to the box on a soft penalty, but it is a penalty. On the penalty kill, Matheson, continuing his campaign on having 0 mistakes and being very popular in Montreal this season, makes a short-handed rush. He puts it over to Evans, who is just robbed by Knight. Then Chicago goes back the other way.
Bertuzzi Watched by Dobson, gets it off. Teravainen in the slot.
Yeah, and it's going to be Bedard. Power play goal, making it 2-2. He'll take this goal because it does get deflected off his leg. They all count. Now we see a blatant tripping call on Lane Hudson. Habs are going back to the PP again, but let's check out what Coach Blashill thinks of this penalty. This entire game, man, Blashill looked like he had smoked his fiber supplement before the game. It's a real animated character. Montreal on the power play has their opportunities, but Knight is looking sharp in net. And then once again, Bedard is running his mouth. He's sharing words with Josh Anderson. I think I saw Anderson mouth the words, "Okay, superstar." And I don't want to criticize Bedard too much because I know that he has his frustrations and his reasons to be frustrated, but he didn't have a good look this game. And to further illustrate my point, Bedard goes to the box for unsportsmanlike conduct. Montreal headed back to the power play, but why would they wouldn't score? Why would they score? Why? Now, Kirby Doc's brother Colton is going to the penalty box. So again, going back to the power play, and Dan Blashill is fighting with the invisible demons that speak to him when he thinks no one is looking. He then mimes that when he gets home, he wants to go for a dive into a big pile of warm water for a swim. But the second period ends 19-10 in favor of Montreal for shots. Spencer Knight, like I said, doing a great job in net, but can he steal a game for the Hawks? Third period starts. Now with 14 minutes left, Chicago on the power play. Anderson hits Nazar very hard, but for some reason, nobody wants to fight Anderson. We're starting to get near the end of the third, and Bertuzzi feels like he needs to assault Doc, but at this point, the refs are just so tired of handing out penalties that they just kind of move on. So time winding down. The first line is out, and the Montreal Canadiens are trying to get a couple more plays in before the end of the third period. There's some scrambles in front of the net. Puck gets out to Kaiden Guhle, and
Got it. Caulfield shoots. Stops. Rebound. Right down. Another chance. Right up the net. Guhle shot. Scores!
Kaiden Guhle, 3-2 with 15 seconds left. Guhle puts one in front, and it goes in. I think there's a deflection in front here. He puts the puck in. The dagger goes in the heart of the Chicago Blackhawks and the fans. Yeah, I think if you slow this down, the puck would have went in either way, but it may have gotten deflected off of Rinzel. That's it. That's the game. 3-2. No need for overtime. They solved it in the last 15 seconds. Montreal wins 2 out of the 3 road games they were on. That ain't not too bad. And now they're headed home for a 4-day homestay. That's excellent. What are my critical opinions about this game? Do I have anything? I thought that Montembeault was solid. I thought that Bolduc was good and he brought a lot of physical energy to the game. Matheson was excellent as always. After giving Slav so much praise, I felt like he was a little bit soft in the first couple of periods. In the third period, he picked things up a little bit. But overall, I think that the top line showed up, and while the game was pretty sloppy, I think that everybody played a pretty modest game. Enough to get them the win over Chicago. Speaking of Montreal home games, I've really been racking my brain about how I could afford to go to Montreal to watch a game for my birthday. Unfortunately, the ticket scalpers have gotten a hold of the remaining tickets, it looks like. So I don't know what to do. I can't pay $800 for a ticket. That's bonkers. I don't have that. I don't have that money. But is there like a specific way you can get cheaper tickets? Let me know in the comments. I do want to go. If I go to Montreal, I want to go to the lower bowl, but maybe for my first time, I don't even really need to do that. Although I don't know when I'm going to be able to have enough money to go again. So I kind of wanted to make that like one opportunity to go a pretty good experience. Just give me your tips about going, especially those of you who travel to Montreal to see a game. Give me your tips about going to Montreal and how to make it as inexpensive as possible. That's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I don't joke about this. It's true. You guys are changing my life. This is incredible. I look forward to doing this. I look more forward to watching the games. It's just so fun. It's like an added layer because the next day after I upload the video, I can see how many views I got, read all the comments. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much, guys. You know what to do. Hit that like button. It helps me out with search stuff. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to have you as part of this community. And as always, I will see you down in the comments.